Good morning, sunshine. Welcome to Morning Inspiration with Friends with our host, Miss Inspiration. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe as you sit back and listen.
Good morning. Good morning. Sorry about my little delay this morning. I was out here dealing with car troubles early in the morning. But I'm here now. I still was like, you know what? We are still gonna make this happen, even if we just have to be a little delayed. Right? I'd rather be delayed than miss out on this message. Now, yesterday's message, we were talking about challenges, turning of the pages, um, and it really hit me because, like I said, I've been seeing a lot of stories online. So many people are taking their own life of the struggle, because of the struggles that they have currently in their life, and they don't see a way. They don't see that it's possible for this chapter to just be a chapter, for this page to just be a page. And when you get to the next page, to the next chapter, things can change, things can shift. And I talk a lot about my experience because I remember one of the times I was laid off. I got laid off back in 2008. Yeah, 2008, I got laid off from my job at the time. And I remember, people, I was probably laid off like 7 months. No, it was less than six. So it's probably like 4 or 5 months. And so about 7 months after, I ran into someone who was prior to me losing my job, was a really good friend. And so that person was like, "Oh yeah, I know you can't do nothing because you broke. I can't. I know you don't have no money," because they didn't know my story had changed, right? They still thought that I was in a season where I had no job, where I was still living on like 480 a week, because in New York, prior to October 1st of 2025, but in New York, it's like five something a week, and I was paying my little taxes. So I'm literally bringing home less than $2,000 a month. And that person thought I was still in that season. So they were speaking to me as if I was still in that season. They were, making comments and being condescending because they remember the season that I was in. They didn't realize that I can get a job, things can turn around, right? That there's no lack, that things can truly improve. And so I want you to remember that your past is not your definition. The past that you have gone through, whether it is lack, whether it is, you're not making as much money, you're making a little bit of money. People love to define people based off of this the chapter that they entered their lives, right? And so when people meet you based off of the chapter that they enter your life, they forget that things has happened before and things will change after. They're only looking at that one particular time. And I know, like in 2016, 2017, when I had nothing, and I was talking to my boyfriend about this the other week. I had mentioned to him, like, the old me, if I would have met him when I was in that season, I probably would have closed the door, right? Because the old me was like, I gotta have everything together, gotta be perfect. I can't be without, I can't be in lack, I can't meet new people, because that's what society tells us. I said, and I had to learn that, even those chapters are very valuable. Those chapters have a lot of wisdom, they have a lot of lessons, and there's a lot of blessings. But a lot of people miss that because they're only focusing on, I'm never going to get out of this, forgetting everything that they had accomplished before. If you were able to accomplish all of those things before, why don't you believe that you can get out of this mess and you can change the future and you can go back to what you were doing before and greater? It doesn't have to stay in that mess. And so if you do meet people that are speaking to you in that manner, like, oh, well, you've been broke, so you want to stay broke. No, I could be broke today. It doesn't mean I got to stay broke tomorrow. And that doesn't mean that I was broke yesterday. Right? So we have to understand our past hurt, our past downfalls does not define us. It's going to help to it doesn't identify us, but it does help to define us. Because if we look at those situations and we take them as lessons, we can say, you know what, I'm getting stronger, I'm growing, right? I'm learning more about me and what I can do and what I can accomplish. And I know that if I continue, it's only going to go up. It's only going to get better. I just got to get past this dry season, and I also think about, when I came out of that dry season, people were telling me, oh, it's going to take 10 years for you to rebuild, right? Because that was their story, because someone told them it's going to take 10 years. And so there are people that truly will believe that. They will believe that if you go through a dry season, your credit drops, your savings doesn't exist anymore. You might be running from the repo man, like all of those different things. So many people think that just because those things happened or are happening, that means that that's going to remain the narrative and the story for the rest of your life. And for some people, a few people, that is the truth, right? Because some people don't have anyone speaking life into them and reminding them that you can turn any situation around. An opportunity, all we need is one yes. Sometimes you just need that one yes, that one door, that one opportunity that's going to change everything where you are today. And so if you're sitting and you're just like, just focusing on only the hard day, you can see the then be for you. Probably have to. You it's 7:30 a.m. Central Time. You have today to make some changes. Just telling the first, having a whole like, look, I need this on this. Here's an opportunity. I'm sitting here trying to get all these things together, because guess what? I know that I can change the today. I'm not going to let today's chapter, today's page, to define who I am. I'm going to continue to move freedom. I'm going to continue to thoughts that everything is going to be abundant. It's going to be an overflow. I'm going to continue to believe that. And I understand that a lot of people, they can't believe that. It's pausing. Okay. Thank you, Paula. And this was getting good. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. All right. We're gonna. You okay for now? Okay. I don't know what my train of thought was. I hate when that happens, when it's like it's getting good and then it's like internet is acting crazy. But thank you for letting me know, Paula. I hope the other people that were here, because we had about no, right now the winds are good. The winds are good today. It's actually hot. We have like, I think, oh my God, so it's 69 right now, but it's gonna go up to 93. Okay, we still in our second wave of summer, which I do appreciate. I appreciate it, right? But no, seriously, I want you to release that shame, that regret. And this is why I think a lot of people don't share their stories. They don't share what they overcame, right? They don't share those things because they're ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed of what you've gone through, because if you got through it, if you came through it, that's the blessing. Because now whatever you went through, someone can learn from that. Someone can literally take, because you now have a blueprint, And it may not be the best blueprint. It might not be the blueprint that's going to make you millions of dollars, but it is a blueprint. It is a path that somebody can say, okay, you know what, if Tanisha was able to do this, I know that I can. Because I'm telling y'all, this week, Saturday, makes 2 years that I purchased this house. And in 2016, I was about to face foreclosure on my place back in New York. My credit, when I started to pay attention to my credit again in 2018, my credit was like 550. Like, I remember. Thank you, darling. Right? 2018, my credit was like 550. And I still didn't focus on my credit until 2020. But I had to remember what someone told me. They was like, it's going to take you like 10 years to recover from everything that you've been through. I was able to pay off every personal loan that I had to take out, that I had to borrow from people. I borrowed, y'all know about the story, the lady that loaned me the $5,000. I was able to pay her back. She loaned me that in December of 2016. I did not enter 2019 owing her any money. I paid off that full loan. I had to take out another personal loan. I was able to get that paid off by the middle of 2020. Like, everything that people were telling me, I did not believe, because it was like, that was how you handle things. But I know that the God that I serve, it doesn't have to be that way, especially if you remember what I said yesterday. If we are listening and we are obedient. When you are obedient to what he is telling you to do, your story is not going to look like anyone else's. Theirs took 10 years. 2016, Marshall's notice in my mailbox. Literally in fear, if I'm going to come home, because you hear all these stories of how this process works and how they do it. And I mean, I created all of the crazy narratives. And in 2023, I was able to purchase a second home, not tapping into the equity for the first one. None of that. I didn't have to sell and then buy. So when I tell people that, I could never be ashamed of my past, because my past showed me a lot of things. It gave me a lot of wisdom. It was like, all right, you need to pay attention to that, to your credit. Like, trying to avoid these things just because it's bad. No, face it. Take that reality, sit with it, go through all of your feelings. Be disappointed in yourself. You could be emotional. You could be mad. But once you go through all of that, now it's, what do I do to make these improvements? And like I said, it still took me 2 years to really start taking actionable actions, because I didn't know about credit repair. I didn't know about any of that. And I started to meet people, and somebody was like, "Y'all can help you." And then I created a strategy, because I had to pay for their time. And however people feel about that, I'm one of those. I pay for convenience, 100%. I'm a convenience girl. If you have a service that you really believe in, and it's something that I truly need, and I know that you can do it better than me, I'm gonna find a way to pay you to do that. The same way there's a person that every time that I finish this live, someone goes and they do all the other aspects of the YouTube videos with the SEO and the thumbnails. Like, someone else does that. I have to do whatever I need to do to get the resources to pay this person every single month, because they have the expertise. So I did that in 2020. I found a little teaching job that was paying literally peanuts, but I was able to pay that person in 3 weeks. And my credit started to improve. So that, and again, I didn't know what was going to happen in 2023, because this was my logic. My thinking was, Paula said, all about paying professionals. My time is too valuable to not lean on someone's. Come on now, Paula. See, we understand this, right? And I have this conversation with people all the time. People don't like, how can you pay somebody to clean your house? How can you pay somebody to do your laundry, right? If I know that there are things that I have to accomplish, I have to get done, and it's going to help me, and if God is going to bless me, I'm going to be a blessing to someone else, right? The one thing that I learned from the 700 Club, I don't know if you guys know the show. I watched this years ago, and there was a rabbi on there. And the rabbi has said, He said that Jews, in his mind, are more successful than most other religious people because they pray for every aspect of the business. They pray for the customers. They pray for the vendors. They pray for the vendors' customers because they know that it all works together. So if their customers are struggling financially, what's going to end up happening to their business? They're going to end up struggling financially. If their vendors' customers are struggling, then eventually it's going to come back to them, and now they're going to start paying more, right? So we have to literally start thinking like that. So I do pray for people and their resources when it comes to my business. Shoot, I had a potential client. They were trying to pay pennies, like pennies for a lot of work. And I had to decline. But when I declined, I said a prayer for them. I pray that they get increase so that they can pay someone the proper budget that the person deserves. The work that you can't ask people, right? There's a lot of lessons on 700 Club. I might need to go back and start watching some on YouTube and get some more wisdom. But you can't expect experts to take on your major project. Like I had one, they want me to create learning. They wanted me to create learning modules for their online program, and wanted to give me $50 a week. Now, if this was like one module, I would have definitely done it. But it was converting like 30 pages PDFs every week. And anyone that is in instructional design, 30 pages converted into e-learning, that's a lot of work. That's not going to just be copy and paste. That's also graphic design. That's also making things interactive. Yeah, that's going to take a lot of hours out of my time. So I had to decline, but I wasn't declining to be, harsh or anything. But that prayer was a sincere prayer for them. I pray that someone comes and bless them so that they can have the budget, even if it's not me, that they can say to someone, you know what, we don't have $500, $2,000 a week, but you know what, we can give you $150 every week because we do value your expertise. Or you can find someone who might be in school. It might be something that they can learn even more. There's many different ways to do it. But going back to what I was saying, like release that fear, release that shame. Your past has value. You can now always go back and say, I remember when this happened, so that if a similar situation comes and arises again, yeah, you now have a blueprint. Think about it as it's a blueprint. You have an answer. And so whether it's that you redo everything that you did previously, or now you just do a modified, and I'll give you our example. 2012 to 2013, peak of my weight loss journey, I get this bill. It's like $1,000. I didn't have $1,000. Back then, I had no savings. I was literally living paycheck to paycheck. My ex-boyfriend, he didn't have the money. But the one thing I always say, this is why I say, sometimes we look at people, oh, they can't give me money, then they're not valuable. But you know what he did? He sat with me and he strategized with me. He's like, all right, what can you do that can help you to make this $1,000? Because I don't have it, you don't have it. But guess what? We got something that we can work together to help you make this $1,000. And that's when I was doing the smoothies. And it was his idea. He was like, ask your job if you can do a smoothie demonstration. Your students see you drinking the smoothies. They see the transformation. They're watching you lose. He was like, so see if they will allow you to do a smoothie demonstration. I went to my boss. They was like, absolutely, Ms. Williams. We would love for you to do it. We know what you're doing. Everyone is like, I'm cheering you on. Before I started the presentation, my ex-boyfriend, he did come because he had brought like all the supplies for me. And he said to me, as we were walking into the building, if anyone inquires about you making their smoothies, I want you to say yes. He said, and tell them that the price is going to start at $4 a bottle. We had no bottles. I'm like, what bottles are you talking about? He was like, just follow the plan. And literally, I walked out of there with like 20 orders. 20 orders. And so how we did it, fruit only $4, with greens, spinach, or kale, $5. With protein was $6. That's how we did it. 4, 5, 6. Walked out of there with 20 orders. And for the next 2 months, every morning I was on that train carrying them cold bags with 20 to 25 bottles of smoothies that I made for other people. Now, how soon was I able to pay off that bill? Right on the fly pop-up, right? And my job allowed it. They were like, because you know what? I took away, I allowed for the convenience. In New York City, we do have like smoothie stands. You got to stand online. You know, you got to deal with the people. So if there's like really little room, if you're running late, I took all of that away. So my customers was able to go, they could be a little late and they could just stop by my class or stop by my office. Miss Williams, you got my smoothie? Oh, here you go. And now they're able to drink their smoothie. And I did that for about 2 months because after a while, the wear, it does become tiring, like especially carrying those heavy bags. Those were 16-ounce bottles, and I was always taking between 20 to 25 for those 2 months. And then I got smarter. All right, now we're going to focus on the detox. Now I'm getting clients who are buying in bulk. They're buying at one time. So I'm still spending time, but now they're meeting me on a Friday and they're getting 20 bottles for one person. And now they're paying another price. And I was able to take that same model in 2016, 2017, when I started to do the meal prepping. So it was the same strategy, the same blueprint. I just had to now tweak it and modify it to the needs that people were looking for. So when I tell people this, they're like, oh, I can't do that. Why not? It's between you need to do it and you dealing whatever you do, right? If do you need this or not? Like that becomes my attitude after a while, because I'm giving you all, this is what I do as a strategist. I'm trying to help you strategize so you can find the right decisions, the right solutions that's going to help you to solve your problem. And for a lot of people, it's always a financial problem. So what do you have access to? That's why I said yesterday in the scripture, when the woman, the widow woman with the oil, she had a need. She had a need and she had to use what she had. What did she have? All she had was oil. And so she believed that the oil was going to continue to grow and provide her needs. And it did. Paula said, I was DoorDashing before DoorDash at work for a month, got my food for free every Friday, and introduced me to coworkers. Like, we got to do what we got to do, Paula. I literally just re-downloaded the Dasher app. Literally, today's Wednesday. I re-downloaded it on Monday. I'm thinking about going back to dashing at least in the morning, right? I'm one of those, I used to like the morning rush. I could do the IHOPs, give me the McDonald's, right? Starbucks. I'll go do those. I would start at 6 o'clock because when I was in New York, that's what I would do. I would start in the area there was one part on Flatlands, and they have a McDonald's over there, a Subway, and the IHOP was like 4 blocks away. I would just drive over there and I would just sit. In the moment that you get over there, ping, because somebody's trying to get hotcakes and sausage. Somebody's trying to get the 2 for 2 at IHOP, and someone is trying to get breakfast from Subway because it's not that many breakfast spots. And that's how I would make my money. I needed my hair done one time. I didn't have any money. I came home from work, got straight in my car, prayed about it. I was like, God, I need some generous tippers. I said, and I need to make at least $50. My hair was going to cost $50. I finished that night in 3 hours. I made $75. I had enough money to go to the hair salon the next day and still be able to tip her. And it was able to carry me until I got paid on Friday, because I used to get my hair done on Thursdays. You have to use what you have, and you have to look at what did you do in the past that you can bring to the future. There's so many different avenues and so many different ways. Maybe we'll talk about that on Friday. You really, really have to figure that out, right? Yes, Paula said there's an engineer. Let me tell y'all, there's an app called Field Agent. I'm gonna put this in the chat. there's an app called Field Agent. And what Field Agent does is that, does it even give you a link? It sure doesn't. All right. Well, Field Agent, you can look for it. It's on iPhone and it's on Google. Field Agent is an app that you can go to. If you go to Costco's, BJ's, Walmart, Target, Dollar General, if you go to those kind of stores, this is the app that you need to have. And I'm trying to share, because, if I share, I'll get a what's the face. But you know what? Get your money. A pilot told me about this app. A pilot told me about this app. And y'all know how much pilots make. They make a lot of money, right? This man said to me that he literally started doing this, and they pay like $3 to $5. The most I've gotten paid for one gig was like $15. And that was just for me to go into a Metro PCS. I'm going to drop it. I would definitely drop it. And I'll even ping you. Even Metro PC, I went to Metro PCS. You had to ask them a question, and then you were able to like post, take some pictures. You don't have to buy anything, right? They just literally just want you to go in there and inquire. And I made $15. And that was just me taking a walk. And I just remembered, oh yeah, I did see this gig, and I was able to make more money. And this is something that he said he does. And he was like, oh yeah, I'll just do that. And I'll leave the money there. And that's the money that he would use towards his upgrades. Right. So if he wanted to go to like a really nice resort, he can go there. Mystery shopping is fun. I have done that as well. Right. There's so many different ways. And again, if you are the person that's already going and doing all of these different things, why not get a little extra bucks to go with that? Like, I see nothing wrong with that. One time it was 1-1, and during COVID, I went to the supermarket across the street from my house, and there was 3 gigs when I was walking over there. 2 of them I could find them. As I was walking out, they added 2 more. So I went right back in and I got those 2. So I walked out of there with $20 extra because each one of them was $5. I had $20 extra before I even logged into work. Like, what can you do with $20 on top of what you're about to make at your job? You can do a lot with $20. Well, maybe not a lot. But you can do something. That's lunch, maybe dinner, right? So you have to just really think outside the box and think. So I'm going to talk about that on Friday. I have a lot of options for y'all that y'all can really look into. It's a lot more apps they just like literally creating more apps to give people opportunities to make extra money, right? So again, when it comes down to money, it's just about are you willing to do this? If you're not willing to do it, fine. Then this conversation is not for you. But there's a lot of people out there that need it. College students, single moms, single parents. Let's say single moms, single parents. And then guess what? There's people that just make money. They just make money because they like it. Like I said, he's a pilot. He's easily in the 6 figures. He didn't need to do this. But guess what? It was an opportunity and nobody else was signing up to do it. So why not? Right? Girl, don't get, Paula, we need to have another conversation. Get on my calendar again. Let's talk again. Right? There's so many different ways. Y'all see that the workshop that I'm about to do next week, Thursday, with Toast to Tech Week, showing people how to create chatbots. Why do you think I'm doing that workshop? I'm not gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes or no. But why do you think I'm doing that workshop? What do you think the end goal is gonna be? Somebody out there is gonna be like, yo, this is dope, this is great, but I don't feel like doing it. So guess who's gonna be like, well, I'll do it. My team would do it. I'm building a whole team because I'm foreseeing we're gonna get some people that's gonna be like, yeah, can you build me one? Because I don't have the time, but I do think this is gonna be purposeful and it's gonna be necessary. Ding, 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 ding. Opportunities, right? So Friday we're gonna talk about that. Tomorrow's Throwback Thursday, but Friday we're gonna look at different ways. I'm gonna drop out. Normally This is like one of those workshops that I do. People pay for it. I'm going to just drop some. I'm going to give you some. And I want you to take action because there's opportunities. We just got to see them as opportunities. All right. So I'm about to get out of here. Y'all enjoy your day. I'm going to end this with the video talking about Tulsa Tech Week. So I'll see you back here tomorrow. Tell a friend and tell a friend. And I will see you back here watching Throwback Thursday tomorrow. Have a good one.
Hey friends, listen up. I have some exciting news to share. I will be presenting at this year's Tulsa Tech Week as I present Chatbots with Purpose, preparing clients before the first session. If you're a coach, consultant, educator, or service provider, this is your chance to see how chatbots can transform the way you connect with new clients from day one. Join me on September 25th from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. CT. Register now.
And you can register by using the link that's down in the description. Have a great one, and I'll see you guys live on Friday.